Alright guys, Hazing here, welcome back to the channel for another DISLYTE video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over a few of my own personal favourite support units in DISLYTE, okay? Now, this is units that I've been using myself. I'm not just going off a tier list here. I've actually put a good bit of real life game time into trying these units out, and I've drew a few of my own conclusions, and some of them probably rank a little bit differently for me than reading like the tier list would actually suggest. So what I'm going to do in this video is go over a few of my personal favourites, explain why they're my favourites, and just basically go over if I think really they're units that you should try and pick up or not. Now, support units are extremely important in DISLYTE because if you're just out there on your own, you're using DPS characters, you're using control characters, you're going to struggle for things like defense, you're going to struggle for things like HP, you're going to need to get healing. So that's where your support units come into play, and they play a vital role because as you progress in the game, you're going to struggle without having someone to have your back, and these are just a few units that can fill that role very, very well, okay? Now, I'm going to start off with the obvious one. Yes, I am going to do it, even though I'd probably rank her as maybe my second favourite. I am going to show her first, mainly because she's the most accessible for players, and that is going to be Yoshuna, okay? Now, I think by now everyone knows about Yoshuna, but I'm still going to talk about her anyway, okay? Now, Yoshuna is a fantastic support for a few reasons. One, you can get her free. I mean, who doesn't like free? You don't have to summon her. The rest of these units are all summonable. She does a lot for the team, okay? First of all, she's got this skill here, okay, that grants attack and defense up to espers for 2 turns. And if you've got it leveled, which the fact that she's a 3-star, it's a lot easier to get these skills unlocked. She's going to be able to do that every 3 turns, okay? That's a fairly decent defense buff, and it's also a fairly chunky attack buff as well, meaning that if you have got a few DPS characters and she's on the team with them, they're going to be dishing out a lot more damage, and let's be honest, she's going to help keep them alive because of that defense buff as well. Now, she also does have healing. Her healing is only single target focused, but it's also got invincibility, and I've actually found this works really well when coupled with some other support units, okay? I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute, but if you can cast it maybe on a unit who is another support unit that maybe has something like a cleansing spell, or she can cast shields, if you can make sure that unit stays alive until they've got to the point where they can cast that spell, then Shuna can be an absolute lifesaver because she casts the spell, she keeps your other support units alive, meaning the rest of the team can get buffed off of a healer that's maybe got a bit of a wider range of healing. So I've found that kind of using that skill to stay in the fight, to sustain the fight a little bit longer, it can be very beneficial. I mean, the healing amount you get from it is decent as well, but at the end of the day, it's the invincibility side of it that I really, really like. She does have an attack as well, but let's be honest, you're not really using Shuna for attacking purposes, but it's nice that she does have an attack there, and if she does get lucky, she can reduce attack by 40% on that as well. So in all of her skills, she's either got a buff or a debuff, making her a very, very, very good support unit. And again, although it can be a little bit stressful to grind her out, I do recommend every player tries to get her. Me personally, if you watch the video I put up earlier today that I'll link up above, Shuna was on my team that I used to beat floor 100 of the tower. And really, I don't think I could have done it without her. She's a fantastic unit. And like I say, I think everybody should try and get this unit as quickly as possible. The next support unit that I would probably, I mean, it's hard for me, maybe these are in order, is Gabriella. I'd probably put her in second place, okay? Gabriella is fantastic. I mean, she's great. She's great for a few reasons, to be honest. She is a support unit because she is doing this. I mean, she's giving you defense up by 60%. She's reducing attack by 40%. She's also casting immunity with this as well, so if you've got her going really quickly, she can make your team immune at the start of battle basically for 2 turns, and it comes in completely clutch. I mean, The amount of teams that have a status that they like to cast straight away, whether it be stun, whether it be petrify, whatever, you're immune because she has cast that immunity. Not only that, at the same time she is landing debuffs on that team, and she's also buffing your team as well. Makes this skill really good, and it's got like fairly decent damage as well. So she's doing this while kind of fulfilling a sub DPS role as well. I mean, I don't know if you'd put it quite to the point of DPS, but it's definitely enough to do a bit of damage to help you bring down the enemy that you're taking on. She has the second skill as well that reduces defense by 60%, okay? So depending on how you've got it, if turn 1 you're a little bit less worried about immunity, you can cast this turn 1. You can then have Shuna going after her, casting her skill, which gives attack up. Then your DPSs are going to be attacking like with 40% boosted attack onto enemies who have got 60% reduced defense. It can make a big difference. It can make a big difference to the damage that you are dishing out. She also has got a level 1 skill as well, which is just pure damage, but it does good damage. It really does good single target damage. And again, it is very, very good because she is kind of floating in that role between being a DPS-ish character and being a very, very solid support unit. And do you know what? Just like Shuna, you can get this character for free. In some ways, this character might be easier for you to get than Shuna. I mean, Shuna is easy to get if you watch chat and you pay attention, whereas Gabrielle doesn't really have that requirement. She takes a little bit more work in game to get, but there's less luck involved in you being able to actually get into the ripple, you know. So for another free-to-play player, for another free-to-play support, she's actually insane. And the thing is, using the mechanic in game of Esper Fusion, you can actually get this character resonated, get this character leveled all the way up. I still need to do it. I still need to get resonance for her. I'm going to at some point just spend a bit of time and get her all the way up to resonance 6. But I have with this one got her ascended all the way to max. So you can see as you go through ascension, she does gain all these different things. You do need to get her to level 3, however, to get the most of her her rush skill. So Gabrielle is probably the unit that I would put in second place for me personally. Now this one, my top pick, actually, I feel like flies under the radar a little bit. Everyone talks about Sally being the #1 support. For me, I've actually not found Sally to be as beneficial for my team builds, and I've actually found Clara to be absolutely fantastic. I mean, fantastic. Depending on how you've set up your teams, if you've got your teams set up with adamantium, right, you obviously start with a shield, so you've got quite a decent bit of shielding from any damage. Then when you've got Clara on the team, Clara's ability here, when she heals, she actually gives wait, is it this one here, isn't it? There it's here. When she does her heals, she will actually give a shield. So basically any overhealed will go to a shield, and if you've got your team set up correctly, you can have like a 50% shield. Basically, you can have so much of a shield that you can take a barrage of attacks, a barrage of attacks at the start of battle, and you don't even take any damage to your HP. She is fantastic. She is absolutely fantastic. I really, really like this unit. I think she is absolutely solid. I mean, she's also giving you AP as well, which you really cannot grumble at. I mean, I use her to manipulate my turn orders, like make my characters go faster and get more attacks in before the enemy can attack. She's helping me out in PvP sometimes. I must admit, I use her more in PvE than PvP because PvP is a bit of a speed meta, and healing, if you get your team set up properly, you don't really need to heal because you can kill the enemy beforehand. But I have used her a few times in PvP, and just for that AP manipulation, she's absolutely fantastic. She's also got this as well. She's got Queen's Blessing, attacks the enemy twice, dealing a total damage equal to 105% of attack. Heals 2 allies with the lowest HP for 5% of their max HP. This is good because, like I say, quite a lot of times, well, all the time, we'll click in her passive as well. when her passive kicks in, she's also going to be giving those characters immunity, meaning they can't get status effects on them like stun and stuff like that. So if you watch that video that I have linked up top, you will see that basically the combination of Clara and Yoshuna together work very well. And any time that I was in danger of losing Clara, I could cast Yoshuna's healing spell, which would make sure Clara stayed alive, and in the following turn she could cast her spell that would give everyone a bit of HP, and it would also give them AP to make them go that little bit faster as well. So for me, again, this is personal. My personal picks for the best support units that I have in my box, so being my favourite. Number 1, I would put Clara. Number 2, I would put Gabriella. And number 3, I would put Yoshuna. That's just me personally. I'd love to hear who you've got in your personal top 3 for your support units. Do you run support units? Are you someone who's just balls to the wall and just goes for it with all-out attack? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of my picks. Let me know if you think I'm completely wrong about Sally and I'm just somehow missing what makes Sally so fantastic. She was my most wanted unit, and to be honest, maybe I just can't get her to fit in. I just don't feel like Sally, for me, is doing as much as Clara, and I just feel like Clara might well be the best healing support unit in the game. Again, let me know if you disagree with that in the comments down below. I think she's absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, this is Hazink. Catch you in the next one, dudes. Peace out. See you later.